three more three more mantras for us today. So we look forward to that. And with no further delay, I will pass it on to Mr. Shivakumar.
A very good evening to everyone there. And we, as Mr. Rajesh rightly said, the fourth day of Navaratri, today again invoking Ambal for the day, and the deity being Kushmanda, the fourth day deity, which Trikuta had invoked, and the deity who is the deity of Anahatabja, and how she is depicted and how she came into emergence is seen in the slide 1 today, which is so beautiful, which I think will be displayed now. Slide 1 of Kushmanda, the deity's name being Kushmanda. Ku means a little, and Ushma in Sanskrit is heat, warmth, giving life, giving warmth is what is Ushma. Ku is little, a little warmth given to the world, a little warmth given to the entire Brahmanda. Anda is egg in Sanskrit and in Hindi and other languages, which everyone knows. And Anda being here mentioning about Brahmanda, that is the universe, and how the universe was given a little warmth and it was created from darkness to light, from darkness to light. The end of the tunnel seeing light, and the world, the universe, so light through Kushmanda Devi. And that is why she is known as Kushmanda, giving warmth to the entire universe, bringing in the universe into life, again back to life when there was a time when everything was dark in the whole universe without any light. And so she stays, she is in the Bhanu Mandala. As in Lalita Sasnama, you have somewhere mentioned there as Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. She is the Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. She is in the midst. She is in the center of the solar system, Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. She is in the center of the sun who gives energy, light, and lightens all the universe with his energies. And his energies are provided and channelized by Kushmanda Devi. Here you can see in this slide Kushmanda Devi's depiction, where you see her exactly as I have now told you, in the midst, in the center of the Bhanu. Bhanu in Sanskrit is Surya, that is the sun, the Lord Sun, who radiates energy through the universe, to the entire universe, irrespective of any part of the universe, and in a very selfless way, bringing in all life back to energy. And Devi Kushmanda exactly is the Adhidevata of the solar system, Adhidevata of the sun, providing energy to the entire life and giving life in itself. What she carries in her hands, she has 8 hands, which is depicted with various things in it. Having the ambuja in one hand, that is the lotus, then having the mace, the MAC mace, Ghada, then she is having the bow and the arrow, the Akshamala. Here you can notice one thing which is very interesting. Each of the deities in the Navaratri, the 9 deities which Triputa invoked, all of them carry an Akshamala, Japamala in their hand. Yesterday, as I have, if anyone is able to recollect, I think you will be able to tell me. Yesterday or day before, when we started from the first day, I think I had mentioned about the Japamala's importance and what exactly it is. Especially, I think the second day when we were talking about Sharvani Devi, that is Kanyakumari, the second day's deity, Brahmacharini. Specifically, we were mentioning about the Japamala and its importance. What is the Japamala? I was mentioning there that it was to do with some deities. It was to do with some Shaktis. What were the Shaktis? It was not just the rosary beads. They are the weapons. They are the weapons to annihilate the demonic forces. In the form of the Japamala, when it was just thrown from the hand, it turned into 108 shulas, trishulas. It turned into 108 trishulas, 108 deities, and they were called the Rashmi Mala deities. regarding which I think you are all able to recollect, which I had mentioned 2 days before. Again, I repeat it here, the Rashmi Mala deities, which is mentioned in the Saptashati Parayana, which is mentioned in the text of Devi Mahatmya, and the importance of Rashmi Mala deities and how to invoke and extol them to clear off all the demonic forces in each one of us and to become more Daivik and more Sattvic and more blissful as enhanced, enlightened individuals in our life. Anyway, so the Akshamala in one of her hands and a full jar of honey, the nectar, the Amrita in one of her hands, and the Kamandalu, and this and the chakra and the shank. All these things in her 8 ashtabhujas, ashtabhuja being ashta being 8, and bhuja in Sanskrit being the hands. Holding all these things in her hands and giving energy to the world, and seated on the lion in the middle of the Bhanu Mandala, the solar system, and channelizing the energies and equilibrating the energies of the sun to the entire world. So she gives the prana. Life in Sanskrit is known as prana, prana dhatri. So we come to the first sloka now, where she is described in a whole and how she came into being. Before that, we go into the analysis of prana. And what is prana? Prana, where does prana stay in a human being? Here we have the importance of the chakras as we had described in the aura and chakra healing in the first session. When we see the order of the chakras from Sahasrara, we had Sahasrara the first day, then we had the Agnya chakra, then we had the Vishuddhi yesterday, the 3 deities, that is the Shailaputri, Brahmacharini, and also we had the next deity of the 3rd day, which yesterday we had, and then now Kushmanda, the 4th deity. So from Vishuddhi, we are now coming down to the Anahatabja, Anahata Chakra. Anahata Chakra, coincidentally, or I don't know what you say, it exactly matches if you analyze it, because prana, the heart, prana is in the heart of a human being. If prana, the heart dies, the human being dies in a common sense, right? So the Anahatapta Chakra, where is the Anahatapta Chakra? It is in the heart area, it is in the chest area, it is in the heart area, and the Sukshma Chakra for that which we described, the endocrine gland in the first level of aura sciences, was the thymus gland. The thymus gland, which is supplying all the T lymphocytes, the entire immune system and the prana to the whole body, to the whole human body. So the Anahatapta Chakra, the heart chakra, as you call it in English, and that the deity of Anahatapta Chakra being Kushmanda, incidentally, because Kushmanda, as I had told, gives warmth, gives energy, gives the prana to a human being and the entire universe. Being seated in the sun, the midst of the sun mandala, she gives life, Kushmanda. There is another meaning in Sanskrit, as I had mentioned, Sanskrit, any language for that matter, has words which are synonyms to lot of meanings. Here, Kushmanda, in the common layman's language in Sanskrit, meaning it means a vegetable, Kushmanda, the white pumpkin, Kushma, Kushmanda. So Kushmanda is a white pumpkin. There is a significance here again scientifically with relation to this. Many of us are aware when you take it in the sciences, medical sciences and food nutrition sciences, Kushmanda, the white pumpkin, is a vegetable which is supposed to have a lot of fluids, minerals in it, and people make a lot of different dishes with that. It even sweets with that, which is very famous, as we have heard, the halwa, which is made with Kushmanda, the white pumpkin. And they say Kushmanda, the white pumpkin, being rich in minerals and a lot of specific minerals like zinc, selenium, and magnesium, is very important to replenish the human body with a lot of energy. Energy again meaning prana, giving the strength to the human body, and immunizing, giving immunity and enhancing the immunity of a human being. Immunity being enhanced, the prana is being strengthened further. So there also, that is why the vegetable Kushmanda, that is the white pumpkin, is the favorite prasada for Kushmanda deity. It is a significant correlation. And Kushmanda Devi, as I had mentioned somewhere in Lalita Sasnama, in the sloka of Bhanumandala Madhyastha, she is known as Bhairavi Bhagamalini. She is the Bhairavi. Bhairavi. What is the meaning of Bhairavi? Bhairavi is the embodiment of the authority. An authority is what is called as Bhairavi. Bhairavam is the act of authority. Bhairavam. And that is why she is being depicted as a female gender Devi is Bhairavi. So Bhairavam, the depiction of authority, Bhairavam, is shown in the form of Bhairavi, and Kushmanda Devi's synonym name is Bhairavi. Right? Now here, coming to the first sloka, and also before that, here in the slide, you can also notice that the Shakti Pita where Kushmanda Devi is placed in the world, is in our universe, is in Ghatampur, Uttar Pradesh, where we have the Shakti Pita of Kushmanda Devi. Shakti Pitas, as I had incidentally mentioned earlier also, are the places where the Devi Sati's body parts fell in the world and became invoked and became full of the effluence of energy of these deities. And from then became the Manav Kalyan for the entire world, that is the humanity to be benefited with all prosperity. That is why the Shaktipitas came into being, and still they are the famous shrines which are worshipped throughout the world. Now coming to the first sloka again, where we have Adi Shakti Rame Atma Parama Pavana Kritihi. She is the Adi Shakti. Why the Adi Shakti? Adi is meaning first and the foremost. And the first and the foremost Shakti, yes, definitely yes. A thing, whichever material which gives a lot of life and energy to anyone is supposed to be the foremost, will be in the foremost priority. And that is the foremost the Shakti. That is rightly said. And that is why she is named as Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti Rame Atma. When you split it, Adi Shakti Ame Atma, Ame Atma. It's not engulfed in one Atma, it is the entire, it is infinity. Adi Shakti Rame Atma, Parama Pavana Kritihi. Parama, again indicating it's an adjective to Adi. Parama, being the most important, Parama, Pavana Kritihi. Pavana is the purity, Pavana. There are, see, as I had mentioned the first day, all the names of this world, very surprisingly, whichever be the religion, all the names which the human beings have, even today, have Lalita, all these names are there in Lalita Sasnama already hidden. And without knowing that itself, every one of us in this world has the names from that. And that is why we are all again, it is an indication to indicate by the Almighty that we are all created by Him. And it's a proof, because even without learning Lalita Sasnama or whatever, many people, they also have the same name from Lalita Sasnama. Pavana is one of the examples. Pavana Kriti. Kriti is again there as a name. Each word, if you split, there is a name in it. Parama Pavana Akritihi. If you split it into two words in Sanskrit, purest form, Akriti is form. Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani Divya Vigraha. Aneka Koti. It is again science here, universe. There are many universes according to science and astronomy. So Aneka Koti. Koti is crores, crores of universes, not only our universe, our galaxy. There are n number of galaxies, and that is what is mentioned. So science is engulfed in this. Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani. The mother of all this Koti Brahmandas, Janani, Janani is mother, Divya Vigraha, such a beautiful Divya. Divya is a very, very pure and Divya Vigraha, an idol, an embodiment of all the Brahmandas, Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani, the mother and embodiment of all the universes, all the galaxies. So it's a beautiful description of Ma Kushmanda, and let us invoke her today to strengthen our Anahatabja Chakra, which is required for our prana. Otherwise, we are Shavas. Right? Now we come to the second sloka. The slide, please. Brahmani Brahmajanani Bahurupa Buddharchita. Brahmani, Brahmaha is not Brahma, it's not Lord Brahma. Brahma, Brahman. So she is the Brahman, the omnipotent, Brahmani, Brahmajanani, and the creator of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, Brahmajanani. She herself is a Brahman, and from her comes out all the Brahman, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, all the Mumurtis. Bahurupa Buddharchita. So what happens? She is in different various forms, because the one who creates scientifically just have a, have a what they call it, a outlook or whatever, have a thinking a little bit. When someone creates something, definitely the creator's amsha, the creator's qualities definitely will be there in n number in the creator's creation, right? So when she is the Brahman and she creates, all the Brahmans come into every being, right? In different various potencies. Though, of course, potencies vary, because as you make, it's like making a dish in the house. You make a dish, when you make a sambar one day, for example, the next day when there are 5 people sitting there and it's only available for 4, a little bit of water is added and it gets diluted, right? And they add a little bit of salt or whatever masala. So how you make it up? So still the percentage of the, in spite of the dilution, the percentage of the creation is still there in it. The qualities are still there in it. So that is where here is a beautiful hidden secret which we have to understand. What it means, it indirectly indicates and shows us that once the dilution happens, where we are all in, the dilution has to be enhanced to make the concentrated sambar again. For example, like that, we make the dilution again into concentration of the sattvic qualities, the concentration of the enhanced chakras, where we again reach out and reach to the Paramatma, that is the Jivatma, Paramatma. It's a beautiful Advaita into Dvaita, from Dvaita into Advaita, which is mentioned here. This is the Visishta Advaita, which is hidden here in this sloka, in a beautiful meaning. And also describing her, it's a 2-in-1 process, right? So Bahurupa, different forms she is into, because creation into different things. As we had said about the dilution now, Buddharchita, Archita is praising, praying. So Buddharchita, all the people, all the creation praising her. Prasavitri Prachantagnya. What is Prasavitri? Prasavam in Sanskrit is delivery, pregnancy and delivery. Prasavitri, rightly said, because she has been the Prasavitri of all of us. She has delivered all of us. So she is known as Prasavitri. It is a name for her. Prachantagnya, how? Like a, like a flame which is a jyoti. Prachanta agnya, clearing off the ignorance in you. Prachanta agnya, like a flame which waits off the darkness. Rightly said, Kushmanda came into being, giving solar energy to the world. So darkness is expelled out. So Prachanda agnya, here is another hidden meaning. Prachanda agnya, Ajnana is removed, Prachanda Ajna. You can term it in both ways. Your Ajna is enlightened. When Ajnana goes, your third eye activation happens, your concentration happens, which we described yesterday, and we become more composed in our thinking, right? Prachanda Ajna. So Prasavitri, Prachanda Ajna, Pratishta, like that she stays, she is seated, she is given the asana to sit and get seated and be established in us. Prakatakritihi. That is how she becomes into emergence. She comes out into her akriti, in her shape, to make our heart more pure, to make our anahatabja more stronger, to make our feelings more softer and clear, to make our feelings more pure and blissful, and to bless and create and give back to the society lot of our goodness, and to create a society where we reach to the purushartha and the blissfulness, where we reach and we are able to change and influence the society in the right way, to bring in the right order of thinking, the right order of purity, and a right order of kindness and helpful nature, to enhance and bring all the creation to the foremost, what we call the superior human beings, which we are supposed to go ahead in the terms of evolution. This is so here it's an evolutionary theory also, which is mentioned in a depth in this sloka. That is why again and again I have been saying that Lalita Sahasranama is not just a mantra like any other mantra. It is a yogic practice of enhancing oneself each day. It is a yogic practice. And if you understand the meaning and chant it, it is not just chanting a mantra or a parayana. You are enhancing yourself and your body and your chakras and your entire self to become, it's a personality development text. It's a personal, just like Bhagavad Gita is an MBA with all strategies and cleverness and how smartness you have to be, how you have to be smart working rather than just hard working. The same way, Lalita Sahasranama is a text of personality development and body language and all the corporate theories, where you are enhanced to become more stronger a personality in the right and ethical way. Now coming to the third sloka. Yes, let me have the third sloka. Yes, here you see in the slide that third sloka, where we are able to see that it is mentioning Praneshwari. Rightly said, because I said prana is given by her. So she is the Ishwari for that. She is the head of that. Praneshwari, Pranadhatri, again Pranadhatri, again adding adjectives to the word prana. Pranadhatri, giver of prana, giving us prana. Panchashat Pitha Rupini, Pancha Ashat Pitha Rupini. You split the words, you have different meanings here, including all the words which are required to describe her. Pancha Ashat Pitha Rupini. Pancha is 5, Ashat, Panchashat. Ashat is 6, Shat is 6. You know that. Panchashat Pitha Rupini. It is not Preetha Rupini, it is Panchashat Pitha Rupini. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake here. It is Panchashat Pitha Rupini. It is not Preetha Rupini, Pitha Rupini, P-E-T-A, Pitha Rupini. Pancha Ashat, 5 and 6. Pancha Ashat, 5 and 6, that is 56. 56 Pithas, Shakti Pithas. Here the Shakti Pithas are indicated. The 56 Shakti Pithas of Ambama, of the Devi, is mentioned here, which are the Sati's forms in 56 places where the body of Amba Devi Sati fell, and we have the Shakti Pithas. Pancha Ashat Pitha Rupini. She is in the various forms in this 56 Pithas, where she is seated as a Praneshwari. She is a Praneshwari, giving life to all the creation, seated all through this 56 Shakti Pithas. And what are the Shakti Pithas? 56. Here again there is a scientific significance. Here again there is a scientific significance, where if you calculate Pancha Ashat Pitha Rupini, the 56, 5 plus 6 being 11, and 11 being 2, and 2 being Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupa. Again, 2 being Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupa. 5 and 6, 11. 11 is 1 plus 1, which is 2, and which is Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupa. Shiva and Shiva, which is there again, the concept of the Ardhanari, which is mentioned here, the concept of the effluence, the concept of the combination of the X and Y chromosomes, which is mentioned here, which is one and the same. Without Shiva, there is no Shiva. Without Shiva, there is no Shiva. That is what is mentioned here. So all these meanings are put in here in one small.
Can
right?
you repeat that? Shiva, 1 plus 1 Gives what? Shiva and Shiva?
Shiva is Lord Shiva.
Huh.
In Sanskrit, you say Shiva, Durgam, it becomes Ambal. That's
Oh.
Shiva is a Pullinga, Shiva is a Strilinga. So it indicates Ambal. That is why we have in the last sloka of Lalita Sahasranama where we quote Shiva Shiva, Shiva Shakti Aikyatmika, Shiva Shiva. When you chant Shiva, they always, when you say Namah Shivaya, Shiva, Shiva Shiva, Shiva Shiva, you call. When you call anything with a Durga, it becomes a Strilinga in Sanskrit. Strilinga is indicating the female gender, indicating Ambal, and the male gender indicating Parameshwara. So Shiva Shiva. So when you call Shiva, actually you are calling Ambal. When you say Shiva, you call Lord Shiva. That means it is inseparable. You have both together, and that is what is indicated in all these Panchashat Peethams, where you have Ambal and also the Bhairava, who is a Shiva's form, as the Kaval Daivam, that is the security in that temple. In all these 56 Shakti Peethas. Visrunkala Viviktasta. What is Visrunkala? Visrunkala, all the 64 kalas, all the 64 arts, Visrunkala, an embodiment of that. Viviktasta in various forms. Viviktam. Viviktam is various. Vivikta, various forms. Veeramata Viyat Prasuhu. Veeramata, she is very powerful. Veeram, the strength in her. She is the Mata of Veeram. And Viyat Prasuhu. Viyat Prasuhu. She is in Prasu. That is Prasut. Is again pregnancy. Prasut. She is the creator, pregnant. She is embedded in Viyat Prasu in various forms. So, being in various is again the sloka indicates another theory. Eka to Anaika, Anaika to Eka. One from which everything emerges and where from everything again goes back to one. It's the Paramatma Jivatma union which is mentioned here, which is the embodiment of energy. Here we have the tattva of Aham Brahmasmi Tvamasti Nasti. That means the Almighty is inside myself. I need not look out anywhere else. That is a theory which is mentioned here, which is in a higher form seen in Upanishads, where we have the Bhavanopanishad when we do the Saptashati Parayana, where you go into the bhavana, the thinking and the idea and the strong influence of thinking in yourself that you are the Paramatma yourself, because your body is only a vehicle and the soul is Layam. It is already with the Paramatma and you are a part of it. So you are given the entire actual theory to indicate that you are the Paramatma in yourself. There is no need for you to look out for something else. You go introspecting yourself. That is what is mentioned indirectly. You go introspecting yourself where corrections happen in yourself to make you more stronger, a Purushartha, to make you more stronger, an individual in the right sense to serve the society and bring in the creation to a beautiful way, aesthetic sense, where a world of purity is created. This is what is mentioned in this sloka. Now we go to the last slide today. Let me have the Anahatabja activation. Kushmanda, rightly mentioned as the Pranadhatri, Prana being in the human heart, the thymus gland being the chakra for that, the endocrine gland, the Sukshma chakra, and which is known in Sanskrit as the Anahatabja chakra. So let us make the Anahatabja more stronger, the heart more stronger with pure thoughts, and just see this slide and try to assimilate that, and let us invoke Ma Kushmanda from day to day for the years to go ahead to become more blissful, pure souls to bring in the society with lot of strength and happiness ahead. Thank you once again. And any questions from anyone? Please interact if you have any questions.
Hello, Shivakumar sir. This is Rajesh. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to let everybody know that the second session of the Aura and Chakra cleaning class will be on the 23rd and 24th of October in the evening. So more details will be sent via email, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that it's the 23rd and the 24th, 23rd and 24th of October in the evening.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. I think everyone can note that, and we'll definitely meet on this. Apart from this Navratri workshop, we'll go through the second level of aura and the chakra healing. And as I had rightly mentioned the first day, in that session, we'll also be covering the first session of aura and chakra healing for people who have not attended, so that they also get a full detail of the first levels of aura and chakra healing. Also, we take a recap when we do that, and then we go into the second level, so that it will be easy for everyone to get all the details and which will be useful. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
And have a nice Navratri day today. Enjoy and invoke Ma Kushmanda to bring all the positivity into our Anahatabja chakra and become more pure souls with lot of enhanced energy for a better future. Thank you. Namaskaram.
I just wanted to ask what timing will that chakra healing will be, Rajesh ji?
I think the exact time we haven't figured out, I think, but
Okay.
Radhika will definitely send you all an email with some
Okay.
details shortly here.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.